Okay, so we're going to go ahead and log into our store here. And here we are. This is our main back office dashboard. So in terms of these three boxes here, these are three metrics that are updated every month. So at the end of every month, they're all going to be sent right back down to 0. And then throughout the month, you'll be able to sign in. As soon as you sign in, you'll see how you're doing that month, how many visitors came in to see your site, what your turnover is in terms of your sales, as well as the number of orders that were placed on your e-commerce platform. Now down here, this is kind of a notification feed telling you what is going on in your account and by whom and what they're doing. So you can see the time, the date, the person, and the action. So really, really useful for those of you who are going to be doing this with multiple people and you want to know kind of what people did, how they did it, and when they did it. This is a great place to come just to see kind of a quick view here of the recent changes made. And right here under what's new, well, right now, that would probably be everything. But once you get a little bit better acquainted here and you have some time, you can definitely take a look here at the change log, which is just a set of documentation that's prepared by our development team and development writers, telling you about new features that have come about as well as fixes to issues. Okay, so this main dashboard here is really, or this main menu here, sorry, is very similar to that of the one in retail. So just think of it in the kind of the same way, but you also have an additional little menu bar here to the left. So for this one here, these are kind of our quick navigational options. This button here is really useful probably at the start of this here. It's going to be really useful to you to just get back to this screen. So if you get to a certain place in the system, you're not really sure where you are and you just want to go back to your main dashboard, your main home screen, just click on this button here and you're taken right back to this spot. Right down here, search in your store. If you click on this, it'll be a spotlight search where you can search within your store for any items that you might have to see the visible stock quantities, if the images are pulling up correctly, if the brand is pulling up correctly, just kind of a quick search into a certain grouping of items or just an item. And from here, we can see in view notifications. This is a full version of that information that was just at our bottom right on our dashboard. So really, this is all from the beginning of our provisioning here, and we can kind of see from the very start here what changes were made and what was done. And here, this is really, really useful here, especially when you're starting out as well, maybe just moving forward and adding in new things and new features, kind of streamlining your own proficiency in the e-commerce platform. If you come into the help documentation here, it's a great repository that goes through a lot of different guides, step-by-step help articles, really going into main things about discount codes. If you wanted to know about shipping in depth in terms of shipping APIs, easy post, or you wanted to go further into the applications that you can add to your store as well, this is a great place to crack into those resources. And the last button here is really useful for when you're making changes in your store and you want to see all of those changes made right away in real time. Maybe you change the font color, maybe you added in a picture, maybe you added in a banner, maybe you added in a code or something like that, and you want to see how it looks. You can just do those changes, come here to our bottom left menu here and click View Store. And here we are, we're able to kind of see what our basic kind of background and basic store would look like, okay? Now, if you guys do that, yours would probably look a little bit similar here in terms of the layout. It's kind of barren, but we're gonna be able to add, adjust, and customize this completely. All right, so that being said here, let's go to our settings and we'll start on talking about the back office settings pertinent to going live. Coming into settings here. All right. So just starting at the top left under general settings, we're going into general. All right. So for those of you who are not as familiar with the terms of meta descriptions and SEO, search engine optimization, if you could just chat into the questions module there saying, hey, I have two great articles that really go through SEO as well as meta descriptions in detail. As well, there is a great article that's called the Google Keyword Planner, really giving you great tips on planning your keywords. Some people might, struggle with that. They don't really know what to put, so they're really useful articles. So if that's the case, just type in SEO plus meta in the questions module now. Now, in terms of what we have here, anything that you see a blue SEO button here, you want to fill that out. You want to have content in there, meaningful content, because that is 100% increasing your visibility online and then leading to more sales. Okay. So your description here, you want it to be kind of short and enticing, maybe 1 or 2 sentences tops. Now for the meta keywords, you would want these to be around maybe 8 to 12. That's the kind of hot spot. So less than 8 is not as ideal because you're not getting super descriptive. More than 12, maybe you're getting a little bit redundant in terms of the number of keywords you have. So keeping it in that range of 8 to 12 is useful. Now, adding in local SEO is really useful as well, because usually when people are searching for stores or services around them, they put in their local area. So if you have, for example, we have one store here, this is a test store, but we have one test store in New York and one test store in North Carolina in Hatteras, because people surf there. So we put in Hatteras and North Carolina, so when people are searching for those places in cohesion with searching for surfing gear, because those are two of our main meta keywords here, our store is going to pop up to one of the top search results in Google, Bing, or Yahoo, or any search engine alike. All right. Okay, so now we're going to go to account here. All right, and we're going to come to edit. Okay, so if you guys want to go ahead and maybe you haven't updated your password or changed it, go ahead and change it here. Now, just a little bit further down here, you'll also be able to see account settings. So one of these email store activity is actually going to email you whenever a change is made on your account. So someone's changing a category, someone's adding in an image, someone is changing the theme. It'll email you 3 separate emails for each of those actions. Whereas the next one here, email new orders, really useful here, and this will actually email you, as it says, when new orders come in, to the email up here. If you don't like that, just click change and change it to the email that you want it to change to. Okay, we're going to come here to company. All right, so right now your invoice logo might be the Lightspeed logo, so you can keep it there if you want, or go ahead and put in your own. You can definitely grab the one from your, if it fits, it might be a little bit too large, but you might be able to use the one within your retail POS platform. If not, you maybe be able to just resize your current logo there to one that fits within 440 by 200. Okay, that's megapixel maximum resolution. Your tax ID there, now in the province of Quebec, we are required to put in a tax ID. So if that is the case for your area, go ahead and do that. Technically, if you were required, you would really know it. So if you're not sure, probably the answer is it's voluntary, or yeah, not required. So yeah, but go ahead and check with your accountant just to be sure. But yeah, it's pretty stringent if it is applied. So if you are required by law, it would be very apparent to you. But again, yeah, if you're not sure, just do a double check. Never hurts. All right, just a little bit down here, our bank information. This is where you would go to fill out your information if you were looking to accept bank transfers from customers. Okay, so that's literally bank transfers from their bank to your bank. All right, and we're going to come down here to our users. And sorry, guys, this might be a little bit too late here, but in terms of entering in your questions, because I'm kind of my eyes are on the one screen here, you could definitely feel free to put in your questions throughout, but you can also hold off until we get to the questions section. Just wanted you guys to know that, and we can carry on. All right. Okay, so to add in a new user, you just come here to add new user. You put in a first name. And a last name. And as soon as you do that, you can see the status is set to pending. So you can just go ahead in here and change it to approved. Now, let's say John is not going to be, we don't want him to have full access to our account. No problem. We can come here to full permissions and change this here to say, oh, you know, John, he's just going to be the designer and adding in content. So we're going to give him design, marketing, and content. And that's what you can see. Maybe also products. There you go. All right, but yeah, basically in terms of the permissions, this is all up to you. If you want full access, you could just go ahead and click full permission here. All right, we're going to go back to our settings. And now let's get into our first pillar, our requirement in order to go live here, the shipping method. So this is number one. Again, number two would be payment providers, and number three are taxes. Okay, so for our shipping methods here, we have our address in here in terms of our return address as well as our shipping address. Now, for our shipping methods, we have a couple different options. First things first, let's go ahead and create one that's very generic and basic, the store pickup. So we can go ahead and create that first. The next thing we'll create here is the flat rate shipping. So we'll create that. That's just shipping everywhere with one price. The next one would be a tier-based shipping. So that would require you to have weights and dimensions associated with your items. But that being said, we can create different prices per each weight tier point. So 1 pound to 3 pounds would be this price, 4 pounds to 10 would be this price, and so on and so forth. After that, we're going to talk about EasyPost and connecting with EasyPost and pulling in live rates from couriers. So USPS, UPS, FedEx, Canada Post, and the like. All right, so let's go ahead here. We're going to do a store pickup and click Save. We're going to come into our shipping method here. Right in here, we could say, come into our store, come into, you know, onboarders at, and then you could say, you know, this location versus this location. You could say from this time to this time, really just kind of giving the customer more information on how they can pick up their order. Now for pickup, it would probably be free above $0 because it's going to be $0 to pick up your item. And we'll come into here to delivery cost. And we'll say that for pounds, it's going to be 0 to a high number here for $0. We're going to say who this is available for, and since we have just our two test stores here in the United States, we'll say that it's just available for those who are in those areas of the United States. And that's it. That's our one method sorted out. So now let's go back to our shipping methods, and we'll talk about a flat rate. So we have our flat rate shipping. We're going to keep the type to default delivery. We're going to come into our flat rate shipping here. And we can say here in our description how many days we would approximate this shipment to go through, maybe 3 to 5 business days, something like that. And maybe you could say also USA only, something like that. And here we can also put a free delivery above amount. So maybe if someone spends $250 or above, they would have free shipping on their order. We're going to go ahead here to calculate taxes automatically and toggle that on. Definitely a great tool because it will calculate here the taxes for our shipments when we're shipping to destination or origin states, and who would pay the tax on which shipment based on where you're shipping and from and who you're shipping to. All right, we're going to go ahead here and put in our delivery cost. So that would be our one flat rate. We'd have this spanning over our entire kind of range of weights, and we could say that's $11.25, for example. That means all orders, $11.25. And who is that available for? We could say that is available for the United States. Perfect. Okay, now let's go over how we can add a little bit more control over this, because maybe you'll have a really, really heavy order and you want to charge the appropriate shipping for it and not pay for that shipment yourself. So we're going to come here into add a shipping method, keeping it at default delivery again, and just going here to all right, we'll come into our shipping method. And here, again, you can add in information. Oh, it's going to take 3 to 5 business days. Expect it within this time. If you don't, you can call this number, something like that. And again, here we could say the same thing in terms of it being $250 or above. You would have free delivery. And we want this to be calculated to always calculate taxes automatically. And down here, this is where we can add in our tiers. So that's our first tier. All right, and my last tier can be like all-encompassing. So I could say from 31 pounds to it's going to be $30. All right, and I could say who this is available for. So maybe for my tier-based, since I'm okay with it, I'm going to say, yep, I want this to be available for my United States customers, but I want it also for my Canadian friends, maybe. All right, so again, these are all manual shipping methods here, okay? If we wanted to pull in live rates from a shipping API, we're just going to save here and go back to our main shipping page. So yes, these are all manually created. These will work, but in terms of actually pulling in live rates from a courier, USPS, UPS, Canada Post, FedEx, you can integrate here with EasyPost. So if you're interested in pulling in those live rates and actually integrating with a courier, definitely just type in EasyPost or EP. to our questions module here, and I can give you the step-by-step guide. You will have to go to easypost.com and sign up for an account first. That's step one. Step two, you can go ahead and sign into all of your courier accounts in your EasyPost account, all of this outside of Lightspeed. All right, and then from there, you're going to get, after you've done some configuring on your EasyPost account, you're going to get an API key, which you would then just go ahead and copy and paste into here. You would then enable this integration, obviously going through these steps here. And from there, you would then be able to utilize EasyPost and utilize the courier accounts you have associated within your EasyPost account. So what this would do, your customers would be going to their checkout, and then it would say, okay, select your shipping. Do you want USPS ground for $8.60, or do you want USPS air priority for $13.80, or do you want USPS priority for $12.80? Okay, live rates from your couriers. Perfect. We're going to go ahead here and put in our store country. So we have English selected here. If we wanted to add in another language, for example, French, Korean, what have you, we could go ahead and add it in here. Now, it's definitely pertinent that you know this language and you're able to translate, or you have someone there that is able to put in the translations. In some places here in the system, you won't be able to continue or save anything until you have all of the translations for the languages that you would want to provide. So if it's in French, we're going to be saving it in English, and then we're going to be saving it in French, and then we can continue. If we can't provide the French, then we're not going to be able to save the English. So definitely make sure that you know that language before you add it. All right, or someone does. Now, we can definitely go ahead and add in a currency here. I'm going to add in the Canadian dollar, because maybe some of your customers are from Canada. At the very top right-hand corner of your homepage, your customers are going to be able to click on USD, or the button beside it, CAD. Maybe you're doing euros, and you'll also see an EUR. All right. Once you click on that button, it will then update those prices to the currency that you would want displayed. So if we were in USD, I went to the top right, clicked on CAD. I would then see all of my Canadian prices, and probably doubled. Anyway, that's another webinar. But anyway, from here, yeah, all of our rates are updated to the minute here from Yahoo Finance. So you won't have to deal with that or kind of worry about that. That's all taken care of here on the back end. So those live rates here, depending on where they're at in the global exchange, those will be displayed here on your site to the minute. And we're going to go ahead here and say, hey, what countries can actually place orders in my store? So for now, we'll say United States as well as Canada. All right. Let's go back to our settings. So that's our first pillar set in place, and we can kind of go from there in terms of either integrating with EasyPost or utilizing those flat rates or tier-based. Now moving here to our payment providers, we're going to hop over the website settings for just a moment here and hop into our second pillar, the payment providers. So if we come here to add payment provider, top right, we're going to see all of these options. Now, for those of you who are joining us, you're all North American customers here. Maybe some of you are from Canada. Maybe some of you are from United States. If you're from the United States, you definitely have a wide range of payment providers that you can choose here. Cayenne to check out, Authorize.net, PayPal. Canadians, you guys are good for Stripe as well as Authorize.net, I believe. And everyone is good for PayPal. Now, PayPal is it has a little bit of a different checkout process compared to the other payment providers here. So PayPal will actually route you out of your store and take you into their site, which you would then input all of your information in terms of your banking information. Then it would auto return you back from their site to your site. So for people who have used PayPal, they're like, yep, that's normal. This is what PayPal does, what have you. But if you are maybe dealing with customers that aren't sure about that, that could then potentially hurt your conversion. Now, in terms of setup here for PayPal, it's pretty easy. Just put in your email address and go into your PayPal account. And not in Lightspeed, you're going into your PayPal account, signing in and setting up your auto return as well as your messaging URL. All right. Now, in terms of the costs associated with PayPal as well, so some people like to charge the customers the transaction fee or the processing fee. So you'd be able to do that extra cost fixed here by dollar amount or percentage. And you could do that for any of your payment providing options. All right, down here under checkout, we have the ability to configure our checkout settings. So it's going to be completely random in terms of how your customers are checking out, either multi-step, so that's one page filling out your name and your personal information. Then you go to next, then you're filling out the next page with all of your shipping information. Next, you're confirming your order. Next, you're going into payment settings. And the last would be confirming your order. So it's a step by step by step by step. That's number one. Number two here would be a page that you would scroll up and down and you'd be able to put in all your information that way. So you can turn both of these on. Your customers will be randomly selected. You'll be able to see, okay, these customers got this configuration. What was the conversion versus the abandonment compared to your one page? And then you'd be able to say, okay, which one do I want to turn off or keep on? Or maybe you want to keep both. Up to you. All right, we're going to come down to our last pillar in order to go live, and that would be taxes. All right, so if we come into change country selection here, all right, so let's say those of you who are joining us from Canada, we come into Canada, we click save, you're done. That's it. You're done your taxes. If we actually go into Canada here, we can see that all of these regional sales taxes have already populated. All right, but for those of you who are American here, you go to United States, click Save, and then we're going to add in a physical location. Awesome. So now I have my Dare County sales tax there at 6.75. If you guys are using or you guys are charging a different tax for items pertaining to what the physical description of that item is. So for example, if you charge a different tax for children's clothing, maybe you charge a different tax for food, beverages, something like that, you can add in a tax class and then assign an override to that tax class. So maybe for those of you who are joining us from New York, you would want to add in a clothing override, come into your tax override here and say this is for clothing. And what do you want to do with the tax override? New York clothing under 110. So to apply these items, you would go ahead into clothing and add in, if I were in New York, and kind of setting up this account for New York, I would go in ahead and add products and then find all of my products here that are below the price of 110 and add them to this list. All right. So now let's go back to our website settings. We mentioned the notification emails first. We're going to hop into here. All right. So this is your communication with your customers. Now, depending on when you provision, some of you may have these auto filled out. So if we click into one here, let's say, for example, the order confirmation and invoice. All right, so you guys might actually have something already formatted in here, but if you wanted to change it around, edit it, and kind of make it more in your style, you'd be able to go into there, edit it, and change it, add in hyperlinks, add in pictures, add in videos, add in bolds, italics, underlines, also adding in here customer-specific information being pulled in. So for example, if you wanted, if I were to do this right now, and I was your customer, then it would say Mr. Mark running. It would pull in all of that, and it's all customer specific. So whenever you use these notification content buttons and it populates these little bracket keys here, this will then pull in all of that information pertaining to the customer. All right, if you wanted more of a walkthrough and kind of a crack down into each of these different notification emails and what they're all about, you can definitely just type into the questions module here, notification emails. Just to note, if you would like to not have them sent out, delete all of the text within them as well as the title and press save. Okay, now if you guys are moving from a former web POS to Lightspeed, then we would want to keep your ranking and the traffic that's routing from your former page and your former web store to Lightspeed, your new platform. So you'd go ahead here and to add a new direct, you'd put in just the information after the slash of this subdomain from your old site, and now here redirects to, you would want it to go to your onboarders.shoplightspeed.com. So this is routing you to the .shoplightspeed.com page, your platform now. And you could go ahead and set that redirect as permanent. Now, again, this is probably one of the last things you want to do. You want to make sure you have all of your information all correctly configured here on your back end, in your design, in your photos, with your images and your content before you go ahead and fire off into this, because then basically all your customers are going to be routed to this site here that's going to be half finished or under construction, which might not be the best look you want to give. So go ahead and wait off on this until you're ready to go live and you're ready to take orders, and then say, okay, I'm ready to redirect now that my site's actually finished and it's presentable to my customers. So creating that redirect number one, routing from your old store to your shop.lightspeed, and now probably you guys want to change your domain so it doesn't say onboarders.shoplightspeed.com because it's kind of harder to remember. So to change that, first things first, create your redirect. After that, we'd then come into domains and we would go to add a new domain. Basically here we would put in our domain name, and then we would create a CNAME record that would point the shop.lightspeed to your new domain that you purchased. So for example, onboarders.com instead of onboarders.shoplightspeed.com. All right, for a full walkthrough as well as in terms of getting support for this, our technical support team will walk you through this and could even perform this for you, okay? All right, guys. That was our settings. Now we're going to hop into our products. Okay, so let's take a look at that cassia wetsuit we were looking at before. See here how it's listed as one item. That means that even though it's part of a matrix containing multiple items, in eCom, it's seen as one. Let's go into it. So title, full title, and description. Now our title and our full title, the only difference between these two is the title is what you will see in gallery view, and the full title is what you'll see when you actually click into the item and you're looking at just that item. the description here should be short, sweet, and enticing. Kind of a quick snapshot of what this thing is that you're selling. You'll be able to individually change the visibility of items here. So if you want them always to be hidden, you want them to be visible when in stock, or always visible. Just the way to do that in bulk here, we're going to come back into this, but I just want to show you this really quick. You can come in to click this button here. Under bulk actions, you could then say make visible all the time, keep invisible, or only make visible when in stock. All right, so here, under my content, much longer description, correct, that is true. We would want to go ahead and put in videos, put in pictures, put in hyperlinks, put in bold, italics, underlines, all these things that, that we can do here to kind of add content to this item and also describe it for our customers. So if there's features about this, you know, back zipper, unisex wetsuit that kind of sets it aside from other wetsuits, then you'd be able to go ahead and put that information into the content there. Now, our product images, these would have gotten pushed over from the retail platform to our e-commerce platform. Now, in terms of selecting the correct image that would be associated with the correct colors when people select them, you would just come into, for example, if you have a matrix item here that you need to assign pictures to, you might here, instead of seeing pictures, see a gray box with a plus button in it. So you just come into that box and select the correct picture that would be associated with that item. So for a red t-shirt, you would want to select the t-shirt that's red in order to then represent the red t-shirt. So when people are shopping and they're looking for the wine gold mulberry size 12, they'll see this. You can add images into this section here separately, and they won't be pushed back to the retail platform. So in terms of the transfer of information from Lightspeed Retail to Lightspeed e-commerce, think of it as a downward slope. At the top of the hill, you have retail. At the bottom of the hill, you have eCom. Going down the hill, trickling down, you're getting information flowing down the hill from retail to e-commerce. Now that trickle down is not pushing back up the hill. It's staying down at the bottom of the hill in eCom. Most of the information pushed through, but some of it didn't go all the way down to the e-commerce platform. So that's just kind of a way to remember and kind of understand the transfer of information. And right here, we have our categories as well. Those were pushed over from our retail platform to our e-commerce platform. And we'll be able to select multiple categories here from one item. So that's something different from the retail platform compared to the e-commerce platform. Here we can have this be part of wetsuits, as well as hers, as well as yeah, if we wanted to do like a part of the boards hers or clothing hers, actually, that's a little bit more pertinent that we could do that. Yeah. All right. And down here under tags. So the way that categories and tags are used in retail is internal organizational use. That's what they're used for. Now, categories and tags on the e-commerce platform, different thing. They're actually how your customers are going to navigate through your store and streamline their shopping. So for your categories there, they're going to most likely be displayed on the top bar of your store. So people will be able to see what they're looking for, click into it, click into the subcategory, and then be routed to a page of all those items. You can also have your tags appear on the footer of your homepage. So people can click on wetsuits and then see all of the tags associated with your wetsuits. Okay. Again, this is included in SEO here, so definitely fill out wherever you see SEO. It's going to really help you out in the long run and increase your visibility online, which then always equates to more sales and a more successful business. All right, here, so this is kind of what a search engine result would look like if we were searching for the Cassia back wetsuit here on, for example, Google. We could put in a description here, again, short and enticing. It should be 160 characters or less. The keywords, you can just copy your tags and paste them down here. And if you wanted to, you could also index your item here in a Google category. So if you're interested in that, just click on the Google manual here and you'll be able to see what you need to put into there. Usually it's a numeric code, so you could just search through the list there, see what you need to put in, and pop it into that box right there. Now, specifications, this would be useful to those of you who are selling items that can be compared and contrasted from each other. So computers, phones, automotive parts, something like that. That would be great for this. Basically, items that if you see a picture of it, you don't really know what's inside. So if you see a picture of a computer, you're like, yeah, it's a nice computer, but I don't know the RAM or the hard drive or the memory or the storage or the way the screen displays. So yeah, so those are kind of things you would create then for your specifications if you had types of items like that and you wanted to compare and contrast between groups of items. Custom fields here, most useful to those of you who are going to be doing custom work on your items. So maybe engraving, monogramming, gold plating, stitching, kind of putting in some customization to the item, so adding in the customer's initials, getting a custom color for an item that you usually wouldn't have, and you're special ordering it for that item, for that customer, that would be considered a custom field. And a really useful tool here would be your related products. So putting in related products here is great for upselling and kind of grouping your items into groups. So then you'll be able to see what items were commonly bought together. So from here, you can put in up to 10 products, and there'll be a little checkbox there that'll say, hey, because you liked this and you ordered the Roxy Cassia back zip wetsuit, you might also like the yellow on black flip-flops or the Maniac board or something. So that always kind of entices the customers. Now, in terms of rearranging your categories there, we kind of touched on that in terms of adding in multiple categories to one item. You'll also be able to rearrange your category structure here completely. So right now, if we go into categories in your account, you guys might see everything under in-store. The way to bring it out is to come here under rearrange categories on the top right-hand corner of the screen. Coming down to in-store, taking your mouse on the subheading that you want to move out of the in-store category and dragging it out. There we go. So now we have our accessories. So just to kind of give you a comparison here, if we were to take this and put it back into the in-store, now let's take a quick look here. I just want to see if these are visible or not. They are not visible. So let's go ahead and make some of these visible here, just as a navigational toolbar for our customers when they're trying to search and purchase by category. All right, so right now I have my wetsuits visible and I have my clothing visible. If I wanted to see what this looks like, I'm going to come to View Store. Cool. Clothing, wetsuits. Now let's make sure that those accessories are also visible. We're going to come to Rearrange, coming down to In-Store, going to Accessories and pulling it out. Now it's out. We're going to come to Done. It's listed as visible. So now if we come to view our store again, there they are. You can have a different structure for your categories in the e-commerce platform comparatively to the retail platform. So again, because the retail platform is using categories for organization and reporting, and the e-commerce platform is more so using it for kind of your customer navigation. You can have a different structure, and you can add in new categories here that won't push back to the retail platform. So maybe you want a text page about us at the very top of your store. Maybe you wanted promos or something else, kind of including text. You'd be able to do that as a top level category. All right, now let's go back to our dashboard here. We're running a little bit late on time, but I definitely wanted to show you our design. So we've selected a different design than what you guys probably have right now. You guys probably have the conform on. So not a problem. That's just the default theme. The place that you can see all the themes is coming here to Theme Store. Now take your time, take a look through these here, seeing and shopping and seeing what you want your store to look like, and kind of what features you would need to have. So randomly checking in this one here, you'll be able to see kind of what these have to offer. As well, a great tool in order to know everything about a theme is to go into the documentation. A lot of the questions that you might have starting out could be answered very quickly by just making sure you read through that documentation. Okay, so each of the themes is different. We have many different options. They're developed by different people. So just check and see in the documentation if that theme is really good for you and it does the things that you want to see. Okay, so yeah, take some time, up to you here in terms of what themes you can choose. Some are paid, some are free. So see here which ones you want. Now, the one that you're in right now, the conform, would be free. And yeah, if you wanted to see kind of what a paid theme would do, obviously you're paying for something. There's a reason why it's paid. It has a countdown clock, it has maybe a calendar, something like that. It would have something that set it aside from the other themes. All right, but if we wanted to do some customization, let's come here to Theme Editor. The most basic level of customization here is coming to Customize Theme. Then we're able to come down here and change our footer background color, our newsletter button, our, the background color, the background images, your font colors. All of this here you can click and drag. You don't have to know any coding. You don't have to know any special codes and anything special here. All you have to do is click and change and do what you'd like to see. All right. Now, on top of this, if you wanted to go a little bit deeper and you know coding, you can come here to Custom CSS. And within here, you can write HTML as well as CSS, obviously, and this will then put these customizations and these changes on top of your theme. All right, and the most, I guess, severe level of customization would be in our theme editor here, which actually would only be available to those of you who have the advanced package or the professional package. Now, I would only advise you going into here if you have a web developer or you are a web developer, if you know coding. If you don't do any of these, don't go into it. It's just going to stop updates from going into your theme because you're actually taking the theme and you're kind of breaking it open completely into a complete dissection. Okay, so if you don't have a web developer, go ahead and don't click that and just hang here into the customized theme and click away. All right, guys, so without any further delay, I'm going to go back to our keynote presentation and open the floor to some Q&A. All right, just a moment here. All right, I'm just going to start answering some questions I have here. So Nicole asks, the Matrix. For example, we sell a product. Do I create a matrix in retail to add the different colors we have available versus the individual listings we have now? Exactly. It's a really, really good idea to go into Lightspeed Retail and create a matrix for those items as, yeah, if you're going to have just one item that comes in a variety of colors and sizes, or just a variety of sizes, you'd want that to be a matrix because then that's counting as one item. They're grouped together, and you're not kind of your customers when they're searching for them and adding them to their cart, they're not seeing an entirely new a new item for a new size. It's just, oh, do you want the black small or the red medium? Instead of, oh, red medium is another product and the red large is another product. Just adding a little bit more flow, cohesion as well, helping you with your product count if you have a cap on your amount of products you can display. For example, 250 or 5,000 or 15,000, pertaining to what package you're in. And perfect. Yes. So, Nicole, you can absolutely create categories in retail, and those will automatically push over from retail to the e-commerce platform. And that's just within your inventory section of your retail platform, just at the very bottom of that inventory list there on the bottom row, categories. Cool. Anytime. All right, guys. So I just wanted to share with you guys, we're starting something a little bit new. It's very exciting. And I just wanted to kind of offer this to you as we will be presenting this workshop here. We're going to be offering 2 workshops for our e-commerce platform. And I just wanted to make sure here, I'm going to close the questions and I'm going to start talking about the workshops here. So. All right, so this is basically going deeper into what we just did, breaking what we just did into 2 one-hour sections. So what we just did, going over our settings, notification emails, going over products and design, it was kind of a wide sweep over it. And maybe you want to get a little bit deeper into the material that we covered, and get into an interactive type of walkthrough. So you would be doing it with the actual instructor. Everyone would kind of let people know when they're good to go, and you'd be moving at the same pace together. All right, so the first workshop would be on product and design, focusing on content, design, and the product management, what we kind of went over at the last part of our classroom here together. Now, workshop 2 would be more so for configuration. So that's kind of your go live, lesson. You're just making sure all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, your shipping's working, your payment provider's working, your taxes are working, and kind of a last stamp of approval. So the next workshop here that's being presented is on Monday, and that would be for product and design. So you guys definitely have a one-up here. You're the first customers that we've actually told that we're going to be launching this here for Monday. We've been working on this workshop here for a long time, but now they're finally ready. So if you guys are interested in getting a little bit deeper here and actually having an interactive walkthrough of product and design, go ahead and just type in WS1 Workshop 1 workshop, and then I'll know to add you to that list there. And then in terms of the instructions and the prerequisites to get into that workshop, you'll get that through email as well. So there's a few things you'll need to have in place in terms of product images, some content added, and at least some products created. All right. Perfect. Okay, so that being said, go ahead and type in WS1 or just workshop to the questions module now. And for those of you who said, hey, no worries at all, I am good to go. from today's lesson, then we can go over your next steps here. One, just continue setting up your eCom in terms of putting in images through the retail platform, transferring those over to the e-commerce platform. Definitely making sure you have your shipping set up, as well as your taxes and your payments. And you're working with your design and your content. Then kind of moving forward from there, if you're looking to book in another workshop, which would be an interactive walkthrough, you could either join one of those. It will be every week on Mondays, and it will either be the one that's focused on product and design, or two, the configuration. All right. Okay, guys. So just for reaching out to our team directly, as well as the support team, to maybe you want to think about the workshop, maybe you want to wait and kind of come back to us, no problem at all. The two numbers here are one for support. This is for direct issue resolution. You want to find, different solves to things that you maybe you're setting some things up, you have a quick question, you can reach out to support. If you're looking to book in a follow-up workshop, you can reach out to our customer success team here, extension 800, and we'll be able to book you in to either workshop 1 or workshop 2. All right. Okay, guys, I wanted to thank you again for joining our webinar here today. And just in terms of the follow-up, I'll make sure to add you to the list here, Eric, as well as Nicole, and anyone else moving forward who wants to join the workshop. You guys are more than welcome. Thank you so much again. I'm going to leave this number here just on the screen for a little bit for you guys to mark down. You can call in right now if you're willing and able to set up your workshop. And going forward from here, I hope you guys have a great day and a great weekend.